Contacted Verizon regarding damaged cable that fell on the home of an elderly customer, which is very interesting because I guess the fire department called and issued the complaint as well. And Verizon never did anything about it. So I called their tech services and had a very, very long conversation with them about, you know, hey, the fire department calls you, that's kind of important. You might want to address that issue. You can't just kind of let that sleeping dog lie. And, you know, they came by, they sent someone out and cleaned it up. The woman was very grateful, and I was just glad it all worked out for her. I received a report that the Verizon VARTAC box at the iNet hub in the high school had been unplugged. I don't know what the issue going on there with that, but occasionally someone is unplugging that box. I have no direct control over that. I don't even have a key to that room, so I can't even fix that issue. I revisited the request for the third channel from Comcast after receiving numerous complaints regarding Comcast Channel 8 broadcasting LCAT, which is Lawrence Cable Access. I was informed that Comcast did not see the immediate need to give us a third channel, and they would examine and consider the request in the future as determined they needed it. I discovered the new North Reading High School Middle School school building project had no room set aside for the iNet hub, so I made numerous attempts to contact the secondary school building committee. In November, I reported 3 different types of viewer complaints on Comcast, which is again kind of a conflict because it was low audio, loud audio, and fluctuating audio. In light of that, Comcast sent 2 technicians to test and adjust the equipment in our studio, Town Hall, the North Reading Middle School, and the iNet hub, and they basically determined it wasn't coming from our equipment at our studio. In December 2011, we were off air on Verizon for half a day. It's very similar to what just happened actually Monday. And it was determined not to be caused by the NORCAM equipment simply because we were still on the air on Comcast. I mean, literally, our signal comes into the hub at the high school, hits the Comcast equipment that processes it. It splits. One feed goes to Verizon's equipment, the other feed goes into the laser transmission equipment that shoots it up to South Lawrence. It's our sincere goal to do our best in keeping our viewers happy and provide the best cable access experience we can offer. We cannot do this alone, and we hope that our viewers are willing to help report issues within the cable system here in North Reading. So I'd actually like to have folks contact us. We have a whole log to fill out, but also if they could call their cable provider and say, hey, look, because even from Comcast, it's like, we don't really get any complaints from people in town. I'm like, well, that's kind of ludicrous because there's all these issues. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah.
No.
Let's let Rob finish the report, please.
Okay.
Sure. All right.
I'd like to say one thing, too.
Our goals for 2012, our primary objectives are to continue following a capital plan as well as continuing our improvement of our 2011 goals. 2011 was a very strong year for our growth and development, and we wish to continue this momentum into the future. In 2012, we hope to generate even more local programming and to have regular studio productions in our studio facility. Have locally based series types of programs that cover a variety of subjects pertaining to the town of North Reading. And I mean, kind of the sky's the limit. If you want to cover Little League Baseball, you want to discuss issues within the school department, you know, we welcome that. You know, we'd like to have more local North Reading based programming. I mean, that's what we're here for. We'd like to continue to increase our membership levels, purchase new audio and studio equipment. We actually are having quotes for the equipment we bought secondhand because when we initially received our startup grants, we didn't really have much money beyond buying our playback system and then the cameras we use out in the field. So we had to buy secondhand studio cameras, then try to mate that with equipment that wasn't quite compatible with. Some stuff was already like high definition ready, and this stuff was very older standard definition equipment. So we're in the process of upgrading those cameras. We want to continue to transition to a tapeless environment for a variety of reasons. I mean, one of it's just, you know, the plastics used in tape and everything just starts to get very expensive. We can just constantly keep reusing a memory card. There's very low wear and tear. The cameras don't require as much servicing because they don't have a lot of moving parts to them anymore. We'd continue our partnerships with both our cable providers to improve viewer satisfaction and resolve issues experienced with both cable systems. We want to continue to increase our online presence through social media. We'd like to continue to archive our programming and offer streaming media services for these programs. And we want to partner with community organizations in order to create programming to better promote the organizations and send their messages to the viewers in town, so more folks know about the food pantry or know about youth services or what may have you. So, yeah, that's the annual report for 2011.
Bob, just Route 10, if anybody's here for the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting.
Or the CPC meeting.
Or the CPC. But the Zoning Board of Appeals normally meets in here. They're in room 10. All right?
Wondering why we kept getting guests here, which is
all right?
I've
So,
been sneaking back
yeah,
there.
so if you're looking to go to the zoning board of appeals meeting, it's gonna be in room 10.
Where's the CPC meeting?
It's, CPC is in.
In room 5.
Room 5.
No, structure, they moved into, yeah, that's right, they're in 5 because your guys are in
In
10.
10.
Yes, 5.
Sorry, Rob.
Oh, that's okay, no problem. But,
Are you finished?
yes, I
Okay.
finished.
Mr. Prisco and then.
Sure.
Rob, no disrespect, but I
Right.
think there's a significant breakdown between what you understand and what I think the people that I talk to around town,
Right.
including my wife, which I'd make a recommendation to you to, when you leave this meeting, go to my house directly and go listen to this meeting. You will hear and see all the problems that people around town are having. We have Verizon, and there is a significant amount of problems.
Right.
I have several people that have emailed me and called me and asked me to say this to you tonight, to get you to understand. There is a significant problem with the module. Listen to hearing these meetings. It is, and you gotta take it serious.
I do take it seriously. The problem is those complaints are not coming to our office. You can ask Phil.
And I suggest that you don't forget the complaints and just go directly to my house after this meeting. She'll be waiting for you, and listen to the meeting. Listen to it from another resident's house. I think that would be the best way for you to really see it firsthand, rather than listen to complaints.
You know, you can always forward those complaints or have those people contact us directly too.
Rob, I'm asking you to go to my house. I think you listen
I
to
don't
it
know where you
firsthand.
live.
I'm gonna give you, I'll tell you where I live, not far from here. I think that's the best way to solve this, for you to really see it firsthand from another resident's house. Because I'm not sure, I think there's a significant breakdown. We're here again a year later, and we still have the same problems.
And, Rob, I think that, you know, and I've heard that it's not in the NORCAM equipment, that it's somewhere in the link to Verizon and Comcast. If we can, you know, certify that that's the issue, we do have means to put some pressure on both Verizon and Comcast to do something about
Right.
it. Okay? This is above and beyond NORCAM complaining, because we have a cable committee, and, you know, they're the ones that oversee and deal with the contracts we have with both those corporations. We have told your operators, you know, and we've had several over the past year, about complaints constantly. So I can't see, like Mike says, that the message isn't getting to you. It should be there.
Right, just
Right,
because you're not getting a call from, I mean, you're hearing it from us, because, again, we
'Cause
hear,
we're
it-
getting the
we're
calls.
getting the calls, or we're bumping into people, whether it be the post office or the supermarket or anywhere else in town, or they're calling, saying, I couldn't hear the meeting at all. It was terrible, you know, and it's an ongoing complaint, a regular ongoing complaint. You know, we can ask people tonight, you know, publicize your number again and say, go ahead and just.
978-664-0501.
Yeah, you know,
Feel
and
free to
just
call.
load up your answering machine.
NorCamRob@gmail.com.
All
You know,
right,
you load up your answering, but the bottom.
actually, that's what I'm
One
here
at
to
a time,
address.
one at
is
a
this-
But the
this
bottom
very
line
question.
is, you know, it is an ongoing problem, and it has been better than it was in the past, there's no doubt about that, because it was always bad, it was continuously bad, so it's not as bad as it always was, but it.
That's
but-
one way to look at it.
But it is, you know, it's improved, but there's significant room, need for improvement, you know, going forward. And whatever the problem is, if it's not your equipment, then, you know, work with the Cable Advisory Committee and work with us. We'll be more than happy to fire off any letters you need.
Right.
I'd welcome that.
To get Comcast and Verizon, you know, forget the idle threats, we'll put pen to paper and fire off a letter, because it is that bad.
Right.
And the viewership is actually pretty significant. A lot of people want to pay attention and see what's going on, and
Oh, absolutely.
and get frustrated.
Based on the revenue, it's about 50/50.
Right.
You
Right,
wanted
let-
to make a comment?
My name is Michael Scanlon. I'm one of the board members of NORCAM. And I just want to pass out a copy of the form that we have for complaints about technical issues or whatever, so you see what we're working with, and then I'll speak to that.
Can you tell me the reason why you're giving these to us? What do you want us to take from it?
I'll explain that.
Okay. I just want to understand what the goal is. Steve and I can share.
Let's see.
I was gonna have one.
There's more here.
Okay, the fact of the matter is that in order for us to run these issues to ground, to prove or disprove whether it's NORCAM equipment or Comcast equipment or Verizon equipment. We fundamentally gave you folks the wrong piece of information and folks in town the wrong piece of information, which is originally I think you were told if you get a complaint, try and, well, first of all, have them call us or try and get as much information as you can about the issue. And I'll give you his background. I worked at WGBH for a number of years in their Audience and Member Services Department, the most award-winning customer service department in public broadcasting. And so when Greg came to us once again with this problem, I took a look at the issue and I said, as much as you want to help, your impetus is to help, having Rob go over to your house and listen to the meeting at your house doesn't help, because what we need to do fundamentally is to log every complaint at NORCAM so that we can compare and contrast where they're coming from, what system they use, whether the complaints are similar or dissimilar. If one person's calling, if your next door neighbor calls in and says it's too quiet, and you call in and say it's too loud, we need to know that, because it could be as simple as the wire from the street to your house that's at issue. Could be a cluster of folks that are having a problem because of bad wiring. Could be one side of town that is worse than the other. So strictly from a customer service standpoint, the only way to deal with this is to centralize the complaint process, to log every complaint on paper, and to put someone at NORCAM responsible to track down and investigate each one of those complaints. So as much as I know you're frustrated and people come up to you and they're frustrated, you need to no longer try and help them. What you need to do is tell them to contact us. We'll let them know whether their problem is probably cable related, in which case we'll refer them to Comcast or Verizon. But it's the only thing that's going to solve this, is for us to be able to take out a map of North Reading, figure out where the problem areas are, whether they're connected to each other or related to a certain piece of equipment. It's the only thing that's going to work. So what I would like to do is I'm going to have made up a NORCAM contact card, laminated, for each and every one of you, or I can give you a supply of NORCAM business cards. So if somebody comes up to you in the library and starts complaining about NORCAM broadcasts of meetings or anything else to do with NORCAM, you can hand them something, or you have the information right at hand so that you can say, this is the person, call Rob Carboni at this number, and we'll log every complaint. If you guys want to report monthly, we'll give you a report and tell you how many complaints we got and how we've analyzed them and how we've solved them. I promise you, each one of these complaints will be taken seriously and it'll be resolved. We'll get an answer. But it's the only thing that's going to work. I don't want to go another year with this sort of ad hoc system. I want to set up a system that says everybody's on the same page. If you have a problem with your cable, if you have a problem with NORCAM, call NORCAM.
Can you fit something into your budget, which would be a mailing to each resident in the town and have a magnet? And on
Good
it-
idea. That's a
and
great
on
idea.
it with, complaints. Call NORCAM.
That's a great
And,
idea.
just do a mailing. It'll be a one-shot deal maybe, or once every 2 or 3 years. And that way there, people would have, we understand there's concerns with the local access channel. Please call us.
Right.
We want to hear from you.
Absolutely.
And here's a magnet.
Happy to do that. We might be able to work something out with the cable companies to have them send it out with their bills. I don't know, but we can work something out. But again, we all have to be on the same page, and instead of it being an anecdotal complaint that comes through you and maybe gets to us, because the other thing we'll be able to track is whether the complainant is just going to each one of you individually. So it's just one person that's having the problem, but it gets magnified 6 times because he talked to
But I
6
think if you do
different
this
selectmen.
mailing thing, it's going to provide you with an opportunity for greater outreach, maybe build your
Absolutely.
membership, greater outreach,